Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Where's our insights? There we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just for all of you jumping out of bed to watch us,
Or
um,
watching us with
we
your.
realized last time that there were no, like, people were watching, but we didn't see that there were people watching, and people made comments, but we didn't
And we didn't
see.
see them, yeah.
So I'm
So
hoping, like, if you're
that's not like
there,
us. So.
it's not like us. You know us better than that. Like, engage with us. We'd love to kind of hear what you say and anything that
And if
interests
we're
you.
not
And
responding, then we can't see.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
it's it's not we're not blowing you off.
we're not gaslighting you.
Yeah, yeah,
So, good
yeah.
morning.
Good
So I'm all
morning.
excited because Amy was like, "I want to talk about the Superman trailer," and I'm like, I had watched it and was like, "Yeah, okay," but I have no idea why. So
Well, that's true, and not to be super teasy, but I just wanted to say one thing that like has really been up for me this morning. Besides how like incredibly beautiful it is here, it's like the coldest it's been, I think.
I
In
we had so in on our door we have like a couple like little bolts on the inside. I'm not sure what they're for, but they were frozen on the
Yeah,
inside. They were
yeah,
like icy
yeah,
snow on the inside. I was like, this is the best. It's like survival in the tundra. The
yeah.
snow and ice is creeping in to kill us.
Yeah, it's just so, there's like this particular way that the air feels like when you breathe when it's this cold, and like, oh my god,
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it too.
So but when I've just been feeling this morning, just I want to acknowledge what a specifically tender time this is right now, as I think I have been with Thanksgiving, but also Christmas. I had just, I think part of it is that just to remember and like have tenderness for yourself and compassion for yourself, and others, that it's like everything's up. It's like I feel like it's like the veil is very thin, or like our skin is very thin right now. So like a tiny thing can kind of, I think, feel bigger or whatever, or not be a tiny thing. And that's not that it feeling bigger is not true, like, but it's like that's what I mean. It's kind of like, oh, like all the feelings are really like right at the surface,
Like
so
more permeable.
yeah, more permeable,
Like the
and like,
ice creeping in through the door
yeah, and like
metaphor.
something that can like push you over into like the depth of your heart or feelings, or just like that sort of tenderness and sensitivity is really there. Like, I had a friend send me a voice text this morning, and just like I was just really feeling how just one small thing can feel like a bigger thing, and I feel it for myself, even though this time I'm not like driving from one thing to another thing. I'm not doing like something at my lover's, family's place, and then going to my family's place, and then jumping the car, and we have to be here for this and that. And it's not like that. It's very much more subdued, and yet still I feel like I could feel yesterday, like I was just like a little bit like extra, sensitive, or extra like I could feel myself wanting to get more reactive. Like it was like how it like, and I didn't really know. I didn't know until this morning. I was like, oh, it's just like there's just something about the time. And like my mom was flying to my sister's yesterday, and I was really aware of that. Her flight was late, and like, so I was holding that, and I was like, okay, I don't want to project, but like I could feel like I was just like kind of, that was going on the side of like,
Right.
well, this great, amazing person who's such a great support, and he like very generously drove my mom to the airport and like sat with her, and then the flight was late, so then that was extending his day, and I knew that he had actually other things to do, and I was like, oh god, like, so I was like aware of that. And then on top of that, had to do a bunch of the odds and ends of Christmas things, and it was like then my love was like running a little bit late, and I could feel myself wanting to get like just get angry. You know, I was like, oh, there's the protector. And I was able to actually, I was irritated, but it didn't go over. Like, I was like, oh, but I was really like having to work to stay and to stay soft and like do my, go to my dream place. But then as soon as I left the dream place, it like was right there. Like, hey, I'm here. Hey, this is
good with your dreams and all, but let's get back to the business
because this
at
is
hand.
Uncomfortable. Yeah. How can we not be uncomfortable?
Yeah. Don't you realize there's stuff going on that we
You are unsafe. Yeah. We're unsafe now. So let's get back to that.
It reminds me of the quote that I found that Wake said like 8 years ago. My Facebook memory.
Oh yeah, but I
was like to Wake, like Wake was like mad at me, and I said, hey Wake, don't put this on me. He's like, but I want to project. Yeah. We are raising this child correctly.
Yeah, well,
and
that's it's true. Like we all want to project.
Well, I think as human beings, it's not even the like want to maybe because it's like can be empowering, but there's such a subconscious aspect of it that's like we actually believe that's what's really happening.
Right. That's
like we believe that that's what's happening, and with the dreams and other support, it's like, like okay, I'm in reaction.
Yeah,
this is happening.
Yeah, right.
But still. 9 times out of 10 on a given day, 3 times out of 10. Like, I feel for me, the average is like 5.5 to 6 times out of 10. I'm not aware that I'm projecting, reacting immediatally. I catch on pretty quick, but it's pretty fucking cool because like almost 50% of the time, I'm like, oh, I got triggered, interesting, So
right, yeah. So it, having said all this time is even more so. It's like everything is really amped, and so. I'm just feeling like I have a real tender heart. Like I'm just for everyone and like everyone this time of year, like people were going by me. There was more traffic this morning for some reason. And I was just like every person in every car, I was like, I love you. Like, oh gosh, like saying a prayer for every person, just like, or just sending love to every person. And on that note, I just want to offer the song that people to Google, the Avett Brothers song "We Are Loved," because it is just.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
She played
it's
it
the truth. It is the truth. It's like it really is the truth, and listening to it, more. The lyrics are unreal. It's like it's so real. It's so beautiful. So anyway, it really, because I feel like another thing that happens in this time, and when we're reacting, and also being met with like all the stuff, like we're having to enter back into like the places of trauma, is that we forget we are loved. That we can't feel it. Like I can't feel it for myself, how I am loved, and I forget. And then that makes it so it's hard for me, to love others. And so, I recommend that song, the Avett Brothers, We Are Loved. Yeah. So I'm feeling that.
Yeah. It's the We Are Loved. What you just said about not feeling loved, like what I'm still kind of basking in, and I'm trying to remember and receive and kind of go back to it, is Wake turned 17. Our son, Wake, turned 17 on Friday. And there's a few things here. So one, I was just thinking about what to write to him on this card. Which is so much fun. It's so great. Like I just love sitting with this card for Wake every year and feeling like really slowing down about what he means to me and what I've seen him do this year. And it's such a time to kind of slow down and celebrate. And I brought up the experience of the owner of Capitol Grounds, the coffee place, running up to me.
Oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable right now.
Why? Because I mentioned a person?
No, just because I don't know. It's like,
Okay.
I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it
So
feels
I'm going
braggy
to tell
or
a
something.
story,
Okay.
and Amy's going to sit in her discomfort. Um, and she ran up and she's like, I've been waiting for this moment. And I was like, what are you talking about? It was that Wake had applied to work there. And she said, I've been waiting for this moment since he was 3 or 5, depending on who tells the story. Because she said 5 to me, but anyway. So what I felt in writing him this card was like, I felt immersed in all the time and experience that I've had with Wake, is what it felt like. Because I could feel the excitement that I have of spending time with him. A lot of the time, most of the time, not always, but because it ebbs and flows and all that too. But I felt like I could really hold and bask in that. And it was just, there was something really powerful about like, this person had to wait like 11 years to be able to like finally spend time with him. And I was like, it just helped me be like, I got to spend all this time with you, like all this time. So there was that felt like amazing to feel. And then what you're saying about being loved, like a real breakthrough for me and my healing. I don't even like the word breakthrough necessarily, but like a real paradigm shift for me was when I was really deeply in depression and trauma a few years ago. And I went to see, I've told this story before, but went to see Dear Evan Hansen, and the play just like broke me into like the depth of the feeling of my father not loving me. And I was left because I was still so depressed and so like shut down and so in trauma, even though that I could feel all that pain. It wasn't like doing its job. I almost want to say like the healing of it wasn't there. It was just the devastation.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't think I've ever felt loved. And I think I'm broke. Like, I was like, maybe I'm just broken. Like, I really felt like there's something that I know love is that I haven't felt, is like what I really could feel. There was like this thing of like, I haven't felt loved. And I remember having a session, kind of like an emergency crisis session the next morning. And my therapist said, I said this thing to him. And then he said, and this is like the feelings were right there. He said, well, you love your son, right? And like, you know, and I just like, I could feel something. Then it started to really move in me. And he's like, if you can feel that, you're not, you can receive love, like you're not broken. And so, I just love him. That's why I'm talking, like, not to brag about, yes, we have this golden child, and if only people would come into contact with him, or nothing like that. It's just like, it was so wonderful to just be with him, and with you. We went out to dinner, and just to I bless not being depressed, not being in trauma, being able to be present in those moments, and like, I don't know, it's just
it's
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
It's really,
yeah.
Gosh.
And for
I
me,
just don't even know what to say.
And for me, it lines up with what you're saying, because I can feel the thing you're saying about sort of the things feeling like a little more permeable this time of year. It's like there's like this dark sky that can have this effect on me of sort of wanting to do more but feeling sort of low energy and lonely, and then these days that are like freezing cold and sunny, and my energy is like I feel so clicked on, but it's there's such a I at least experience a real energy shift in the type of day it is in winter. And yeah, there's expectations around Christmas and family and celebrating and not celebrating, and like a number of my clients this week were like, yep, Christmas and family, you know, it's like they're not necessarily super excited about it.
Yeah.
And this is sort of the time of like having to be with family. There's just a lot there. So yeah.
Yeah, so we're here with you.
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm really just feeling that.
And I've had these like super intense depression dreams this week, which is so weird because I don't feel this way at all right now. Like I had a dream last night where I just was like more and more depressed, and this friend of mine needed me and I wasn't able to be there for them, and I'm like calling my mom about how dysfunctional I am, like, and I woke up, I was like, what the fuck? So I'm really curious about what that's about for me. It's like the discrepancy in terms of my experience now versus whatever the dreams are showing me about maybe like breaking more from that. I'm not even sure. But, so I'm like, I woke up like, and now I'm like, oh, okay, it's sunny and it's freezing cold outside.
Yeah.
So. And now I'm like, but what do you have to say about Superman?
So, you had texted that the new trailer was out, so I couldn't wait. I wanted to watch it with Wake, for the first time, but there's no possible way I could wait.
This is the Superman movie that's coming out next year.
The James Gunn,
that James Gunn, who I think is a genius, is doing. So.
And before I talk about my experience, I want to say, just as a background, like I wouldn't say Superman is my favorite at all, and there's a thing. I wish Wake was here now, like, because he could talk more about the thing. But there's a thing where people are like, some people really diss Superman. They're like, he's too powerful, like it's fucking stupid, and like they really don't like him, and they're like and they get really mad. They just like, people get really upset about it.
Because he could just do anything to anybody.
Yeah, like he would really just, really, if you look at like his powers and stuff, he's like would just always win or whatever.
Right.
I haven't seen the Batman versus Superman movie, like, because it was too upsetting for me to see them fighting. Like I couldn't. I was like, like it. So I never saw that movie. I wasn't sure about Ben Affleck either as Batman. I wasn't. Is he Batman in that? Anyway, I wasn't sure about that. So, just to say like that, I went in just being curious. It wasn't like it was Flash or Spider-Man, who I really love, as like I really love them like so much. So I didn't feel that personal thing. So, was there? Yeah. So, anyways, everybody watch it, whatever. But I just turned it on. It was really early. No lights were on. The whole house was quiet. I had my headphones on, and it opens with somebody falling from the sky and landing on the ground.
You don't even know if it's somebody. It's just like a thing. It's the snow.
Right.
Yeah.
A thing. It's the snow, and and I'm like leaning in so close now to the computer, and I was assuming. Well, I guess I wasn't. So then you see quickly that it's Superman. So immediately then you see his face, and I just start crying, like just the sound of whatever it was hitting, and then realizing it's Superman and putting it all together. I'm crying. Then he whistles, and I'm like, fucking, is he whistling? And is this about Crypto? And like then Crypto comes over. And Crypto looks like the scrappiest dog. Like he could be anybody's mutt dog. And I'm bawling. And it just like, I cried the whole time. Like it, and then the music, this like hard, the rock and roll, like electric guitar. I couldn't even stand it. Like the whole thing, like everything.
So can you break it down a little?
So, I didn't want to watch it like again right before we, I wanted to, but I don't know how much I want to break it down, but I want to say like, I didn't realize somehow until something about this, I was like, holy shit, Like there's a little boy, and he's like walking, and he's like praying for Superman. He's like, please, Superman. Like, I don't know, please, please, Superman. And I'm just bawling. I'm like, oh my, what is happening? Like archetypally, Superman, what the hell? Like, it was so powerful. Like, I was like, I couldn't stand it. Like, what was happening in my body as I was watching this was like, I don't even know what. Like, I was like putting things together, like in my heart, and then Lex Luthor, because like, thank you to Michael Rosenbaum on Smallville for playing Lex Luthor, like those writers, whatever, because that was the moment for me where Lex Luthor was like a person. Like, he was a full person. Like, and it was so devastating to watch him, like, just go into, like, become, sort of give way to, like, his dark side or whatever, like, where he couldn't, it was like, I feel like I saw the moment when he sort of chose, like, his pathology or whatever you want to say, like,
he got blended with his shadow.
Like he like really was like, okay, this is it. And he fully went like dark and became like a mass murderer, and it was just so devastating. And so because of that, it's changed that performance in the Smallville TV show of Michael Rosenbaum, and that was given, was like, it changed my way of seeing Lex Luthor forever, because it created this nuance where my heart was fully invested. Even it's like, it's same with Adam Driver with the Star Wars, where I was like all of a sudden Darth Vader wasn't just this like all bad guy, like evil.
What's fucking happening?
I was like, no, like I was like, no, but I love you. Like it was really complex, and like that is it. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this is it for me, is like my heart, is like, we're all here as people. Like, we're all human souls. Like, we all are loved and lovable and worthy of love always. And,
and there's the shadow that wants to come in.
And like things
wrecks people and wrecks relationships and creates violence.
And
evil, but to see that person started in a way.
And
like where the pain got in and the shadow was like, can't, whatever.
Right. So then I see this new Superman trailer, and Nicholas Hoult comes on as Lex Luthor, and I'm like, I wanted to be screaming. If I could be screaming, like I was like, and here's projection. I really like Nicholas Hoult. I like him as an actor. I loved him as Beast. I enjoy him. Like I remember him from About a Boy, just like kind of geeky, like not.
He was in About a Boy?
Yeah, he was the boy in the About a Boy movie, not the show, the movie.
I don't know if I've seen that.
And and I loved him. Like, that movie for me was like big and like father-son, beautiful, like healing and very moving. And so here's the thing where projection comes in. Bear with me. Oh my gosh, you guys. And so because of that, and what I was given by watching the Smallville Lex Luthor, and I was like already like, like it was I can feel it right now in my chest and my throat, where I feel like it's like this agonizing feeling, like that's, wow, it's just really physical, of just like, I don't want this to be happening. Like these, like essentially best friends, who just have this relationship where, so, that was happening. And then there's like, he's saving the children, the kids, and like, there was something else that happened, that was really substantial. And also the person playing Lois, I can't remember her name, but she seems really great. Like really really, like, I don't know. I feel like that was really good casting. Like, very relatable, not like super like glam but like, I just feel like I was just feeling a lot with that. So Yeah, I don't know. That's basically it. Is like I was feeling the immensity of the archetype of Superman, and it made me so curious about what happens for everyone. You know, because the other thing about Superman is like Batman has that darkness thing, you know, where you're like, oh, like he's brooding, he's tortured. He's tortured. Yeah. You know, but Superman doesn't have that, and there's really something. This is like so 101, but I'm still like I'm really feeling it on a, you know, it is like there's really something that's so different. Like there is a brightness, you know, to Superman, and it was really, and I feel like that's really important, you know. And who was it who plays? Is it like was that Rob Reiner who plays his dad? I couldn't tell because the shot was just from behind him, the actor, but like who plays Jonathan. But I was like, that is really, it's like their relationship is so profound, like a loving father, like again in the Smallville TV show, like played to absolute perfection and nuance, you know, by John Schneider, who, you know, and you know,
John
Dukes
Schneider
of Hazzard.
from Dukes of
Yes.
Hazzard. I don't think I've watched enough Smallville.
Yeah,
okay.
It's really, you know, you got to pick through because it was on for a long time and there's some real stinkers, you know, but it's like there's such good stuff, and just archetypally as a father, he's like there's so much there, you know. I mean, I was every archetype, you know, every father in every TV show like was like so pinnacle for me. Interestingly, because I didn't. And you know, he really did a great job as being that, and also the actress who plays Martha Kent was also wonderful, you know, and they did some hard stuff too as the show went on, and anyway, really interesting, and I just feel like it's so valuable, and I would love, this is like a thing where I'd love to be in conversation with people. I think Christus
said hello.
Yeah, yeah. So
and there's at least one mysterious mystery viewer out there.
And then we lost one on all my Superman talk, but I found it, you know, to be so profound in these. It's like Joseph Campbell and myth, and you know, and why it's part of. It shows, you know, it's an example of why it's so powerful. Yeah. And also so personal, like so personal. Like I feel so personal because of what I shared, like watching the Smallville show and being given that writing and performance by Michael Rosenbaum was like so, it changed everything for me. And now forever, like I'm, you know, now I bring that into everything. And that's why sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to watch this because
you bring what into everything? I bring
that performance and the feeling that gave me about Lex Luthor, I bring that into everything. So now I'm already hooked that in to this new Superman, even though that might not be what is given, but I'm going to be bringing that in. And that's why when I see things like my perception of the Jesse Eisenberg performance of Lex Luthor was like, I can't, I have no. Because I'm not interested in that. I didn't see it. I don't think I saw it. Okay. But it felt very just like one
neurotic.
Like just like very one tone like thing, and it without nuance and without. And what's interesting is the relationship between Clark and Lex, and like that there's real love there and real support and real like connection, and that's what makes it, that's what gives it stakes for me, is if someone's just a neurotic, like totally dark Disney villain, it's so boring.
It really undermines the psyche almost, like it's
so easy.
Well, you're talking, and it's like, this is the thing. It's like the battle for all of us is those moments when we're reacting and projecting and thinking it's real and feeling this other place. Like, I could have gone the rest of my life believing that I was broken and couldn't feel love. I could have easily done that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where I was blended. Like, I wasn't evil, but I was like evil to my soul. Like I was in that place of just being completely oppressed by the trauma and the shadow and whatever the physiology of my body, like all of those things. And to watch watch these places, it's like not, it's like the pre-choice place. It's like the place of not being conscious, where it's like you, like we're all like, I talk a lot with my clients about like the thread that pulls us this way and the thread that pulls us this way, like feeling this, but then there's this other thing that's pulling us this way, which is sort of the shadow, the shadow and the process, the shadow and the soul, the shadow and the
and the stepping toward the soul,
the stepping toward versus, yeah. I still don't quite have exactly the language that I want for it, but even witnessing it in my clients and the dreams, like the dreams show the, like, there's this and there's this, and like it can be extreme. It can be like the wound creates the evil, the unfelt wound creates the evil. So like now I'm really curious about the Lex Luthor thing, because I haven't watched Smallville, but feeling it in Adam Driver in Star Wars, I could feel the internal struggle, like the internal war, and it's like, do we have enough support to not go over there? Do we have enough support to feel the love, or not even the love, but like the possibility that there may be something else here? That's one of the things I love about the dreams, is they show the possibility. In the dreams, there's like, okay, there's this, there's what happened to you. There's sort of like what your fucking predicament is now, and then there's the possibility. Here's a thing that could be. It's like very clear and very real. But without that, for me, it's like, it's all just like, will it be, won't it be? Like, I don't even know what the clear possibility would be. Like, for example, I had a client talking about one of their first dreams, and they were running and scared, and there was a tunnel that they couldn't go through because they thought it was too small. But then meanwhile, there was like people, this like young group of kids doing this one thing, and this other group of kids doing this other thing, and then there was this couple that seemed really like happy, and it was like, that was their moment in it, and then this was the possibility of it, that was like, can you feel into that? And that is, there's not a lot of space for that. Like, there's the like, do yoga and feel better, no disrespect to yoga, but like the spiritual bypassing thing.
Right. Well, the other thing that's totally connected, and you said the word, but is like the practicality of this kind of dream work that we do is having the dream place to return to, which then creates space. So it creates this in between where you can take a breath, where you're not in reaction and you're not in the, it's like,
you're in that liminal moment.
It's like the bud maybe or something, it's like, so it's like, it just, and that's what was happening for me so many times yesterday, is I was like, whoa, I really want to, like I can feel I really want to tip over into, and like that place of reaction, of just being, because I'm so scared, because it doesn't feel safe, because like what was promised is not happening, like this was my expectation, it's not being met.
Of what somebody else would do?
This is when we're leaving.
Right.
And then I'm like, why aren't we leaving? But like I'm all, and so, and it's just, again, like on another day, whatever, there's so many things that it depends on. And then also another funny thing is I was starting to get hungry. Like by the time we were actually leaving, and I was like, oh, because that can be a real factor, in just projecting, reacting, and the whole thing, and and staying regulated.
Blood sugar, trauma, and blood sugar.
But then, so then I wasn't in like connected to my soul deeply, and like I wasn't the blood. I wasn't able to get to the place of being the blood in my own body, which is from a dream. But I actually in like remembering that place and remembering the place and watching the kids with Take My Dolls, and which I was really doing in the morning. When I can control my environment, I do so good. I was like, it was all quiet, and I was like really, and from that place of like the place of being with the kids in the dream, where they're taking my dolls and they're giving them new names and walking away, I was able to start to go through some boxes from the house, and of things that I've been really holding on to, of like Wakes, when he wakes, like I have no interest in any of that, and I'm like,
but this was everything.
Like, but what?
I found his little this tiny little glove,
Lightning McQueen
little glove. I was like, can you please wear this to school? It was on his birthday. I was like, can you please wear this to school today?
Yeah. Oh God, I know, it's so great, and the obsession with Lightning McQueen, and like, oh my God, it's so good. So I was able to take one gallon Ziploc bag, and like I literally went through, like he likes all these little things, and I went through. I didn't just dump a thing in. I went through and separated ones that but anyway, so I was doing that, and it felt good. I was like, oh, this is really good. Like feels really good. Like to just start to, do this, like weed some things out and get rid of things and then, so anyway, that was like that. I feel it's very connected to that dream. Like that dream has been so like profound in a way. Again? In the dream, I go to this place. I don't know where it is, and there's like a stone table like in the middle of it. Reminds me a little bit of Greece, but no, some ancient European feeling place where there's like a town with a bunch of like groups of very connected stone houses, and then there's like within that there's a clearing on the top of this little hill, and there's a table, and I'm bringing special things that have held significance for me in my life, like things that I would put on my altar, the little altars that I make everywhere, and so I brought some of the things just from all like times in my life, from when I was small, when I was a teenager, including these two little dolls. And as I said, I love playing with dolls. It was like my life, and playing with this dollhouse, but also just dolls of all kinds, and making anything into dolls and stuff like that. And so these two dolls I put everything on the table, like to give away. And some people from the town are like coming over, but then a little girl who's like 6, and then a boy who's younger, who's like 4, and they come over, and the girl like takes both the dolls, and she's like gives him one. She's like, okay, what are we gonna name them? Let's name them this and this. And they rename my dolls, and they're walking away with the dolls. And it just is like, I can't even tell you how it feels like. And the word I used last week, and it is like, it feels, but now it feels way more like, I don't know. Yeah, but it feels like freedom, or like it feels like, I don't know, like this huge expanse is opening up or something, so but why so I feel like that's connected to me being able to get rid of some things, like some clothes, just stuff that's been in boxes that I haven't touched for a year and a half, because it's still in boxes, and I'm like, oh, do I really need this stuff? And so that feels really good. And it's felt good, like, because in the moment when I'm deciding to give it away, it feels like that moment in the dream where I'm like putting the things on the table.
That feels so beautiful to me.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. Then, when things start happening in the morning, and I'm like, then I'm starting to get like the scared, which is becoming like agitation, which is becoming anger. It wants to turn to like anger, irritation's anger, right? And I'm just like, so, I'm like, okay, wait, like, where's the blood? Let me find my dream place, because I'm like, can feel that I'm getting like, meh,
The dream place being that moment with
the kids, and
like
and
that moment.
especially when the kids take the dolls and are
Right.
renaming them and walking away with them.
And that's the place because it's like the feel, like
It's the
feeling.
whatever,
Yeah.
it has the biggest feeling.
Yeah.
Like the biggest, like very strong feeling. And so then I'm like, it's not helping me. It's not immediately shifting and transforming everything, but what it's doing is it's holding me, like, so I don't feel stuck. I have space. It creates that space. So I'm in this space, and it's like, okay, I'm not my soul. I'm not the blood running through my own veins from the other dream, which is like this incredible other thing. It's not me being slammed. It's not me and my trauma being slammed against the thing. It's like, okay, and maybe I can't even feel that there's a choice necessarily, though it did feel like yesterday, every time I was there, I was like, I'm actually, this time has been a time for me, and I feel like that's what this homework has done for me, of the kids, is I am really feeling, and I am really making different choices. In life, in my waking,
the feeling of
in my waking life, I'm really making different choices. Really, like yesterday was a huge one where it was like, do I want to go to this party thing that someone, and I hadn't seen my beloved person most of the day, and I was like, I don't want to go. And like in the past, I 100% would have gone, because I felt like, well, I haven't spent any time, and like I really need to go. But I was like, I do not want to go. I do not want to go. And I didn't. And it's like, really, that's a very different thing for me. So, and at work, I'm doing similar things all throughout the day of like, no, I'm not going to step into that old behavior where I'm doing all the things that other people didn't do on the checklist.
Because you can feel the stop.
Because place. I can feel, because I'm like, whoa, like, and because doing those things doesn't feel the same as it used to, so I'm like, so when I don't catch it and I'm in the act of doing the thing, I'm like, it feels so, I mean, I could say it feels bad or gross, and it does, but like the actual feeling of it is really like specifically, there's a specificness to how the badness,
what it feels like in your body.
Yeah.
I want to say, if it's okay to,
yes, please,
just to like go into my dream place a little bit, just because it's also like making it personal for folks who are watching in terms of what this experience is like. Because I have still the same dreams, homework, dream place from last time when we met. I haven't had another session. But I read through my notes again this morning, because I was like, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure where the moment is. Like, I could feel like I lost the place. I wasn't quite remembering it. And so it's really cool to just say it out loud, to like reflect on all of the things we've been talking about. So the place is to feel the anger and immediacy when these people are coming in through a window, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You have to leave. And to feel that. And then to feel this other place of trying to kind of figure things out and have opinions and judgment about those two places, which is like unavoidable human experience, right? Like trying to be like, who's right? Am I right? What have I done? I mean, most of it's shame for me. It's like shame or hubris. It's like, I've done something wrong, or like they did this wrong thing, and how can you vote Republican or whatever, like this whole mess. And the moment is that in the between moment to sort of, because part of what that does is it helps protect me. And part of the like, you can't fucking do this opens up the like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what the response from this person's going to be.
Yeah, the uncertainty.
They are going to, I'm stepping in and I don't know what they're going to do. And the beautiful thing is, I don't need to make my case.
Yeah.
I don't need to make my case, this is like brand new. I can just be like, this doesn't work for me. I'll maybe engage and talk about it at some point as I figure it out, but I can know the boundary of like, this doesn't work for me. And in that place is the vulnerability, which I've been feeling that ties back to dreams with the animus and feeling this like male, divine, fatherly support. Mm-hmm. If I step into the vulnerability, the like connection to him, to that energy is just like there, which is amazing. But if I'm in my lawyer place, we talked about Leo the lion and Leo the lawyer.
Yeah.
And it's like when I'm in the Leo the lion place, it's just like whoosh, this moment, like this is it. And then the Leo the lawyer is like, well, this is the reason it's wrong about what you did. Because I don't even in the dream really know what they did. But it just feels shitty that they're coming through the window. They were probably on the roof, which sucks because you're not supposed to be on the roof. And the landlord could like start shit up. I'm like, this is not okay. And then I immediately start to like doubt myself. And my friend, one of my friends was up on the roof and I can't really tell him to leave. And, you know, so it's like, I just love how the dream is like playing with me to help me feel the like, if you can just say it, all of this kind of, it just isn't really even there, which is like trippy as fuck. And what ties it back to me about the trailer and what you talked about, there's like this big powerful thing and there's this vulnerability thing, and the compensation for those two places in terms of like Superman and Lex Luthor, there's just something so deep and poignant to me about how the shadow just fucking takes people's lives. And how I spent so much time as Leo the lawyer, which is just fucking sucks. Like, because I was always stressed out about needing to be right. Like, thank God I didn't get caught up in the hubris of leveraging that to hurt people, which I think is part of what can happen.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And unconsciously, so then it's like, no.
But it's like those two poles are like there for all of us, and it's not even, you know, it's so So, and then so what I think of is like there's the Lex Luthor character, but the other thing that was so, I was like, what the fuck is going on with Superman is he's bleeding.
Yeah.
Like vulnerability.
I know, exactly.
He's like, what the fuck? How does Superman bleed?
Yeah.
Like I can see him getting pounded and whatever, but he bleeds and then he's so vulnerable that he calls for his dog to take him home. He says, we don't, probably the Fortress of Solitude. But if that was a dream, it's such this archetypal moment of him being fully in his wound, fully in his like pulverized wound, bleeding, and he calls for the thing that he knows will, like he calls for the hope, and it's in this form of this little like mutt kind of dog. And then what I love is it ends with Crypto is pulling him by his cape, and so Superman's like can't even move. It's like in the snow and all this stuff, like he's still immobilized, but Crypto's like just like we're gonna go. Like Crypto's not like, oh fuck, man.
Right.
You know, like the psychopomp dog is just like, here's the path.
It's so I'm blown away. Like I'm scared because the way everything about the feeling of that, like when he whistles and Crypto comes over, he's like. Yeah. He's acting. He's like that's what a dog does.
Doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah, and he's just like, okay, like it just everything comes through. It's like it's friggin' masterful. Like, oh my gosh, and it wasn't, and it was not. I was fully, as soon as I saw that, anything about Crypto being like Scrappy Doo was like totally out the window. I was like, I'm fully there. It was the total, I fully believe it.
Shit, said the fairies moment. Oh shit, said the fairies. Superman is dying in the snow.
I mean, I'm I'm glad you brought up that with the bleeding and the vulnerability, because that's why I was crying. Like, it was like, wait, what?
Right,
you know,
right.
and
then what if
like
our
the
hero goes
Jesus
down? You know, what if the person we project onto and we're completely dependent upon goes down?
Exactly.
Then we're fucked. You know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. All right. We should
end?
I think.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Unless there's something.
No, I mean, I always,
Just
there's always something more.
So thank you for those of you who joined us. I don't want to be super abrupt, but I also just sort of feeling.
Yeah, that we have reached a natural ending.
Yeah, it's because my friend Bill was like, 45 minutes is the sweet spot for podcasts.
That's what he said, but I don't feel that way. I feel like often that's not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be down for not. Don't worry, we're not. But I could be down for. I think an hour is can be good too. But
so we'd love your feedback. Krista said good morning, which just feels great from over in halfway across the U.S. So if you guys are there, you can still say hi and leave comments below. Hit the like button. No, I don't think there's a like button. Give us 4 stars on Apple or YouTube or whatever. So good to spend the morning with you.
Yeah,
and good to spend the morning with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just sending a lot of love for this time and
and there's the tender.
Our tender hearts. Yeah.
And if your dream curiosity is piqued, you can also reach out.
Yeah, message us.
All right.
Okay.
I hope everyone has
a wonderful day.
Yeah. Wonderful Christmas, whatever, wonderful.
Yeah.
Or just like the place, the presence to just be able to be you.
Yeah.
Wherever things are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Goodbye. Bye. See you next weekend, next Sunday.